Hey now, welcome to Fitz's Electric Bar. What's in my pile? So a nice little pile I have in front of me here of some stuff that I've been listening to and a usual wide variety of stuff. And so let's just jump in, shall we? Somebody I just saw a few nights ago at a small place here in Vancouver at the Biltmore Cabaret, and her latest record, Jessica Pratt. This is called Here in the Pitch. This is a great record. I really enjoy this record. Sorry, some serious reflections there. This singer-songwriter is, for me, just fantastic. She's extremely minimalist. Everything is very quiet, lots of echo in her voice. Again, with the minimalism, like just very simple chords, but creates some beautiful melodies and lyrics, and it's just one of those records that is sends shivers down my spine. The more I listen to it, the more the songs really resonate for me, and I find I have just a real kind of like emotional reaction to it. It feels very sad, kind of nostalgic, sweet. It doesn't necessarily sound like this, but it's kind of like a combination of old Marianne Faithfull and some of the beautiful sort of Nico stuff, or Lou Reed written, Nico or Lou Reed performed songs from early Velvet Underground, the real sweet ones. So Jessica Pratt, Here in the Pitch, loving this record. This is one of those records that I'm just picking up and putting on first thing in the morning, and it's a great way to start the day. Another guy that I have been talking a lot about and really enjoying is Greg Fote. He's a British kind of jazz, R&B, groove, funk artist. In many ways, because of those many monikers, really defies specific categorization, which I like about him. He creates a really nice mood. Often it's quite mellow. And this record is called Psychosynthesis. And this is a very nice record, a 2-disc set. And I've been collecting a lot of what he's been putting out. He put out a recent live one from Ibiza, and I didn't love that one, so I didn't pick that one up, but I'm getting a lot of his older collection. On Record Store Day, they had a one with Gigi Maslin, which had a couple reworkings or different mixes or alternate takes of songs off of Dolphin, which is another one of his records that I really liked. Going into the back catalog, so my friend Simon was visiting, and he usually says, you got to get this, you got to get that. And of course, there was a huge hole in my collection by not having Maggot Brain and Funkadelic. And this record's great. The title track, Maggot Brain, has really got one of the most beautiful guitar solos. Reminds me a lot of some of the beautiful stuff that Frank Zappa did, for example, Black Napkins or Watermelon Man. Some of the, he's got, people kind of know him as Zappa as an sort of artistic sort of genius, but not necessarily super accessible. But of course, those who know Zappa fairly well had some really accessible stuff and some just absolutely gorgeous, emotional or emotive guitar playing. And the guitar playing on this album, especially the Maggot Brain title track, gorgeous, just beautiful. And actually, it's a very full album all the way through. The songwriting is really, really good. So Maggot Brain, Funkadelic. A couple others that I've often said that my local record store does a really good job of bringing to my attention artists that I'm not familiar with. And one of them is Tommy Guerrero. So many of you probably know him as a skateboarder, but also created music with some really nice beats. Another record that really falls in the camp of creating a real mood. It flows consistently throughout. Just some great beats, some really nice rhythmic stuff, much of it instrumental, and really, really good. So I think this was the earlier Tommy Guerrero record, Loose Grooves and Bastard Blues. And the other one is that I guess just got re-released is Return of the Bastard, Tommy Guerrero. Recommend both of these very much. Excellent records. Another one Simon encouraged me to get. Of course, I love this record, have it on CD. I'm not sure that I necessarily needed to have it on vinyl because I often want to get stuff that I have on CD on vinyl because of the production. You know, I want to be able to get a warmer recording. And of course, the famously lo-fi Guided by Voices doesn't necessarily require vinyl. But this is maybe their best from my perspective. Tractor Rape Chain, Hot Freaks, Hardcore UFOs. This is just such a great record. And so it's nice to have it on vinyl anyways. So B1000, Guided by Voices. Another one I got recently, and this is a debut record by a gentleman by the name of Reese. Dawn is a Melody is the name of the record. Apparently an Australian artist. Again, a little insight into why I might pick something that you haven't heard of is the Audiophile email newsletter that I get. They are very descriptive on most of the releases, and most of the releases aren't things that I'm that familiar with. I mean, especially sort of the jazz electronic. Very warm. This is a 2LP, 45 RPM, so the acoustically it's just gorgeous sounding, very lush, and nice arrangements, and just a beautiful record. Nice, can be wallpaper when you're doing other stuff like having a meal, but it can be also nice foreground music. And again, the bass, the piano, there's some nice harp work, is really lovely. So Reese, Dawn is a Melody. Another one that I picked up last week along with the Reese is this particular record, Double Geography, Open Water. Very nice kind of ambient sounding record. Not sure yet. I have to give it more of a listen. Again, I love the grooves that was created in this record, and so picked it up, and still to be determined in terms of how much I like it. From the archives, a Dendra Banhart, Cripple Crow, one of the records, the first record I think of his that I really got into, and it's almost like a Sgt. Pepper's album cover. I don't know who the people are. A real collage of different people, but lovely record. Heard somebody say Cripple Crow, the title track, Korean Dogwood. There's really just a lot of beautiful songs on here. Double LP, Dendra Banhart, Cripple Crow. With thanks to Lost Mixtapes and Todd, he had recommended some jazz records that he loved. I wasn't familiar with this one, and I listened to it, and had also heard, I guess, from Todd and others that the audiophile quality of this is a Tone Poet release. And oh my goodness, just love this record. It's just lush, beautiful sounding. It's like the prototypical, late 50s, early 60s jazz. And the production, though, is so warm and rich, and the playing is so great. So great record. Thank you, Todd, for that recommendation. You didn't steer me wrong, that's for sure. Briefly, I went and got some used records, which I have been enjoying getting a lot of Gordon Lightfoot, Bruce Coburn catalog stuff. I've also been picking up as many CSNY solo works, so Stephen Stills too. Just got this one. And also an artist that I find hard to find copies of his work, but John Martin. I'm still looking for Solid Air and Bless the Weather. I love those two records in particular. But this one here, Grace and Danger. This is a what is this? I think this is an 80s release. It's definitely got a little bit of that sort of late 70s or 80s production. Yeah, 1980 UK pressing. John Martin. And Fred Neil, really good singer-songwriter. So he wrote The Dolphins, which Tim Buckley covered. And he also does the song, wrote the song, That's the Bag I'm In, which is a great tune. And of course, everybody's Everybody's Talking, the song that was used in Midnight Cowboy. So haven't really listened to this yet, but the very best of Fred Neil. Mazzy had talked about this release on Record Store Day in Europe, I guess. And so I really like David Sylvian. Sometimes he's a little too out there for my taste, but this record is a really nice record. So this is Nine Horses, Snowborn Sorrow. I was thinking and talking about it on another video about rankings, and I've got a lot of David Sylvian records, but the problem with rankings of most of the artists whose albums I have is that there are a few that I don't have, and that to me kind of makes a ranking not really realistic. In a sense, I just feel like if I can't include all of the records by that artist or close to all of them, it really doesn't feel like it's a fair ranking. But anyways, Nine Horses, David Sylvian. Just started listening to this. Very somber, but very accessible. And I like that. I don't know if I've talked about this in an earlier video, but the Late Night Tales, one day I am going to do kind of a focus on this particular series, but Bad, Not Good, Toronto band, Humber College graduates. And I've mentioned before, one of the things I love about these series, the idea is that they're late night listens, right? There are things that, it's kind of like chill records that you would play after you've had a night out. So they tend to be sometimes ambient, sometimes sort of orchestral, definitely down tempo, lots of like soul stuff. And it just depends on whoever's curating it. So Bad, Not Good are the curators of this. They're usually, if not always, double LPs. And this has got some really nice stuff on it as well. So I probably have about 10 of those in the series, and I kind of collect them whenever I can. One of my great loves of I don't know if you'd call it trip hop, but this record I had on CD, DJ Crush, Toshinori Kondo. Toshinori Kondo plays the trumpet a little bit like Miles did when he was doing the muted trumpet in the late 50s, I guess, or early 60s. And DJ Crush, excellent. This is called Koku, right there. And this is a repress. Records were getting crazy expensive, and I wanted to get this on vinyl, again, to complement the CD that I have. It's a very warm record, and the combination of the beats that DJ Crush does with the great trumpeting sort of overlay, it feels very freeform, and it just suits the music beautifully. This is a great record. So got that one. And then finally, Yousef Latif, Atlantis Lullaby. This is a Record Store Day release. For some reason here in Vancouver, most of the shops didn't seem to have this record, or maybe had very small quantities. Atlantis Lullaby, concert from Avignon. I've been kind of going through a bit of a Yousef Latif thing, or at least starting to crack open his catalog. I'm not familiar with his music very much, but I really liked Eastern Sounds, and I've been playing that a lot. So I wanted to get something else by him, and this live recording is pretty cool. Again, still not yet fully immersed in this enough to really know how good it is, but this is a pressing of 2,950. This is kind of cool. I got number 4. It did make me think, though, does the cover and the actual record coincide? Could I have a cover that was pressed number 4 and a piece of vinyl that was, in the 2000s? Not that it really matters that much, but I'm kind of curious how they put these records together, and whether number 4, which some people think is having a very high number early in the stampers and having a good quality record, whether that really makes any difference or not, I'm not really sure. But that's the last in my pile. Carpe diem.